William Ruto is a candle that was light in the wilderness or in the savannah. It will be blown by the wind anytime. No, it's not a problem with David D. It's a problem with the person who constituted those councils. Because David D never appointed himself. World Bank and IMF will never ever invite a nation to get itself in a path of transformation, because their work is not to transform our economic status. Their work and their policies is to enslave us and to make sure that we all play second fiddle.
Still advancing the conversation on what portends for President William Ruto in Kenya's politics and governance, all thanks to the public outcry that we are seeing over the high rising cost of living and the general state of the economy. So let's advance that conversation on yet another edition of Siasa Brigade, your go-to point on matters public policy analysis, politics and governance at large. I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenjo. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Now to help me unpack this conversation is Gishugu's biggest expert and a renowned advocate of the High Court of Kenya, Ndegwa Njiru.
Yeah.
Looking sharp as always.
Oh, thank you, my brother. It's humbling.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
So much budget going into your wardrobe?
Not really, because the economy, like I keep on saying, has collapsed. Basically, we are living from hand to mouth.
Hand to mouth.
Everybody, other than those who are able to access government's coffers.
You mean there are people who are stealing from the government at such a time?
There are those who are now thriving. Kawa yao imeiva sasa. Their coffee is ripe.
At the altar of the citizens' cry that we are seeing?
Yes. Didn't you hear the control of budget saying that her salary had been inflated? Kwani unafikiri nani anakula hiyo pesa? They are the ones eating this money.
A poor, dirty third world country could stoop that low?
Yes. They are bleeding a leech to fatten a heifer. They are milking the poor to fatten their pockets.
It's
a tragedy.
Is that even sustainable?
Well, they are sustaining corruption.
For themselves?
Yes, it's a corruption. They must sustain the corruption web. They must sustain the corruption syndicate. They must tax you.
Despicable.
They must pay fuel at 217 and 300 to sustain corruption.
Very much despicable. But that of the way it sounds. The other time we were having a discussion about what portends William Ruto in the world of politics and governance and his future political bids. And we've seen the recent revelations from firebrand African leader Julius Malema.
Yes.
Saying the President Ruto has taken a radical departure from his campaign promises and is actually betraying the cause that endeared him into power, the power that he's enjoying right now. Sure. Now, I'm asking, from where you sit, do you consider this sort of spectacular failure in the lane of President William Ruto, and somewhat he's not just betrayed Kenyans, but also the continent that had so much belief in him?
Yes, it's unfortunate that the continent could have some belief in William Ruto. And of course, he presented himself as an Africanist.
Sure. As
Mr. Fix-It.
A modern day Mandela, actually.
No. There's no comparison.
Really?
No, there's no comparison. He cannot even get to the level of Mandela. Don't make that offense.
You call that an offense?
Yes, people will sue you for comparing those two individuals.
All right, I take back my words.
Because one was a selfless leader, the other one is a selfish leader.
A selfless leader and a selfish leader?
Yes, selfless being Nelson Madiba, selfish being William Ruto.
Then somewhat you actually, equating Ruto to being a retrogressive and Mandela progressive.
Exactly. That is my statement. Ruto is a retrogressive leader. The economy has retrogressed.
Do you resonate with what Julius Malema has actually put out there?
Malema has just echoed what I've always been saying. He's reading from my script.
Worse a betrayal than that of the Mau Mau?
Worse than that of Mau Mau. And basically, and I know the statement that I'll make will border between me being summoned by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
Sure.
The Mau Mau have issues. They know whom the British was using to suppress the Mau Mau movement. There were communities in this country that were used by the British to suppress the Mau Mau war of liberation. I'll not name them, but they are there. Even if you go and Google or go to the National Archives, you will see some particular communities that were used to suppress the movement. Yes. So William Ruto does not understand what Mau Mau is all about. He has never, ever, ever fought for any change in this country. Even when we were fighting for multipartyism in 1990s, for him, he was in YK 92, suppressing the movement that was fighting for multi-party democracy. When we were fighting for the new constitution, to liberate this country and to give this country a new beginning, William Ruto was suppressing the movement that wanted a new beginning. So he has never stood for any change in this country. He has never believed in change. And that is why he really doubted when people actually believed in him that he had the capacity to change and turn around the economy. You can see now, kimemlemea.
Kimemlemea?
Kabisa.
But then
and that is why Julius is saying, oh, we saw somebody who had who projected himself as having some idea of how to deal with these things.
A visionary and ambitious.
A visionary. You see, when he goes south, he says, oh, the dollar is bad, we must de-dollarize. The next day, he's taking tea and mandazi with IMF and the World Bank. The next day, he's in the White House. The next day, he has been convinced by the White House that he needs to take police officers to Haiti.
Yes.
You see, he's not a Pan-Africanist.
He's not a Pan-Africanist.
No, he's not.
If now you look at the revelations,
he's actually suppressing Pan-Africanism, because Pan-Africanist would identify with Palestine. For him, he's with Israel. When you're with Israel, you're with the West. When you're with the West, you are with the imperialist. In fact, William Ruto is a new hand of imperialism in Africa and in Kenya.
So yes. If you had to have Kwame Nkrumah for just a day, or Thomas Sankara, they wouldn't even take pride in William Ruto?
What are you talking about? Is there even a comparison with Thomas Sankara? There's no comparison. Even with Modibo Kaita, there is no even comparison. Even with people like Akina Lumumba, there is no comparison. Even with the people like Akina Steve Biko. Oh, those are two worlds apart. Mwalimu Nyerere. There's no even a comparison with what Professor Lumumba calls the Osagifo of Ghana. That is President Kwame Nkrumah. So
if what you're saying is anything to go by, so how fast is President William Ruto's political oxygen likely to run out, and maybe when is his political obituary getting to go underway?
You see, William Ruto is a candle that was light in the wilderness or in the savannah. It will be blown by the wind anytime.
In a snap of the finger, it will be off?
You cannot save that light from that candle. It is going to melt very fast, because his foundations are built on quick political sand. Yes, he has no political foundation. Political foundation is when you have with the people with you and speaking truth to power with the people. What he has presented is a man who is a fast talker, but zero delivery.
But he sort of has quite a significant chunk of people around him. Case in point, look at Kimani Ichung'wah, Ndindi Nyoro, and Senator Samson Cherargei, who are confident with his steering abilities of the economy, talking of his miraculous development record, that his performance index is too bright that it's blinding their eyes. Those are still people around him.
I want to challenge those guys who are saying that his development scores supersedes the last 4 regimes, to show me and pinpoint one kiosk. Only one kiosk ya Mama Mboga, only one kiosk of Boda Man that he has constructed, only one that he has funded. I'm not even talking about mega projects, a kiosk in this country. Please locate it where it is. We go and see it. Let's see only a kiosk that for the last 1 year, William Ruto has constructed and funded. I want to see it.
I was actually having this side talk with you before we started the show, and I asked you in a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, where you'll rank President William Ruto's scorecard 1 year into office, and you said a paltry 2 out of 10.
Yes, 2%.
And I'm asking,
and you are being very generous.
2 out of 10, and you're generous?
Astronomically generous and benevolent and magnanimous.
So getting to this point that has made you rank them 2 out of 10, are you taking the blame squarely at the doorstep of the Council of Economic Advisors led by David D, who can't really tell the king is naked?
No. It's not the problem with David D. It's a problem with the person who constituted those councils. Because David D never appointed himself.
The appointing authority?
Yes, the one who constituted those councils, the one who constituted all the so-called the revolutionary, in quotes, approach to the economy is a problem. Because he has been held hostage by the IMF and the World Bank.
But I mean, over time we've seen other nations come forth and saying IMF, World Bank, other financial institutions out there have held our journey towards development and getting afloat.
There is no time that African countries have partnered with the World Bank and the IMF and they have changed their fortune. Never ever. During the time of President Moi, these countries stagnated for 24 years because our development partners was IMF and the World Bank. Now, World Bank and IMF will never ever invite a nation to get itself in a path of transformation, because their work is not to transform our economic status. Their work and their policies is to enslave us and to make sure that we all play second fiddle, and that we shall never change our status from being a third world country to the world to the first world country. So those are policies that are oppressive. They are policies that are retrogressive. They are imperialist policies, and that is why they have a problem with people like Russia and China. When we partnered with China for the last 20 years, during the time of President Kibaki and President Moi, this country has changed. We have seen tremendous change when we partnered with China. Now, after leaving China and going to the West, show me even one kiosk that IMF and the World Bank has funded, and I will show you an expressway that China has funded. Show me one school that the IMF and the World Bank has funded, and I will show you an SGR that China has funded. Show me one food security project that IMF has funded, and I will show you one road, the Thika Road, superhighway, that China has funded. Show me any development that IMF and the World Bank have funded in this country, and I'll show you what China has funded.
In the same breath, now that we've seen the president is a darling to the international development partners,
yes,
and you're saying you don't really believe in the sanctions.
No, he's a darling of the imperialists. Not development partners. Imperialists.
Are you then taking concern with this globetrotting? Every other time is going there to seek bilateral trade agreements and engagements. Are you taking concern with all those
what impact have they created? The last time I think he was somewhere in Kajiado, or is it in Narok, and he was creating a joke. Ni watu wangapi wana kazi kwa nyuma nione na kwa mkono. Did you see that?
I saw that.
I mean, what have those bilateral
visits and all that?
Visits and treaties, how have they impacted on the economy? Zero, nothing.
He said he's traveling for the best interest of the country.
There is nothing to show for it.
There's nothing to show for
it. I mean, Kibaki did not travel, and he changed this country. Magufuli, the late Magufuli, and may the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. He never traveled. He was able to change Tanzania. Uhuru did not travel as much as William is doing. He was able to do the expressway. Let him tell us what do we reap, or how have we benefited from those international travels.
Very well.
What do we have to show for them? The only thing that we have to show for them is a debit on our accounts. It's a debit on our accounts. So on our public coffers, zero.
Very well then, Dego. In the interest of time, before we conclude this show then, for people like, say, Cherargei and Kimani Ichung'wah, who really believe the country is headed towards the right trajectory, what oftentimes the reward for these people that from your eye you consider them as sycophants who cannot tell the king that he's naked, what in the fullness of time is always their history, their reward?
They are rewarded with kickbacks. They are rewarded with contracts. They are rewarded with their wives and their kins getting government appointment and government jobs. And they are rewarded by having a free entry to State House. They are rewarded by being close to power and feeling great and big and important. That's the only reward they get.
And they are afraid that they are betraying the people who elected them into office. Like now the people of Nandi County or Kikuyu constituency.
You need to have some bit of morality for you to feel ashamed of having betrayed individuals. You need to be a selfless leader for you to feel ashamed of having betrayed the individuals who portrayed you.
Those ones are shameless?
You need to have some benevolency for you to feel that I owe a duty of care to the people who elected me. These guys, they have zero chills. Zero chills. They have no attachment and commitment to the people who elected them. They believe that they owe no duty of care to the people who elected them. And hence, they can feel ashamed. They cannot even feel like they've betrayed anyone. Yes.
Very well then. Well, there you have it. That point by Ndego Njiru brings us to the wrap of this conversation, talking matters the political future of President William Ruto and all those things that he needs to tighten and the loopholes that he needs to fix so that he can leave a very solid legacy and also transform this country to the heights that we all desire. Or maybe we can say we need to position this country to be the Singapore of Africa, as oftentimes he has proclaimed. We wait to see how that will go. But then again, a clarion call from him is that we deserve to make changes today, if not yesterday. Until next time on Siasa Brigade, I'm Richard Mwanjo. Always a pleasure.